Hello, I'm Jeff Hampton with the Hampton Law Firm. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the topic DWI Field Sobriety Tests. Do they really prove that you're intoxicated? Now, if you'll wait around to the end of our video today, I will also provide you a free guide, the ultimate guide to DWI defense in Texas. All right, so let's jump right into this. There's a good chance that if you've been arrested for a DWI in Texas, then I can pretty much guarantee you that a police officer asked you to perform certain field sobriety tests. Now, what are field sobriety tests? What are they designed to do? Well, they're designed to basically give a police officer a way to score you and to see if he can develop probable cause to arrest you for a DWI and then get you over to do a breath test or a blood test. That's really the goal with a field sobriety test. Now, if they don't have, let's say for some reason an officer is not able to get a breath or blood test, they know that a field sobriety test is critical for them in order to try to prove that you have lost the normal use of your mental or physical faculties by reason of the introduction of alcohol into the body. So how do they do this? Well, by their opinion. That's really what it is. When they give you a field sobriety test, they just look at you and they give an opinion. And that opinion can sometimes be wrong. It's very much a subjective crime without blood or breath evidence. So the tests are actually promulgated by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. And what they do is they put together these tests and they must be followed precisely. They must be administered. There must be instructions that are given properly, and they must be administered properly in order for them to be used against you. Okay, let's break these down. The first of those tests that we're going to discuss today is the horizontal Gaze Nystagmus test. In other words, the HGN or PEN test. Some people refer to it as the PEN test. Now, what is this? Well, it's this PEN test. It's actually held. This is the way it's administered. The officer is supposed to hold the pen 12 to 15 inches away from you and move it slowly from side to side. Now, what is he looking for? He's looking for something called nystagmus. Now, all of us have nystagmus. There will be an involuntary jerking of our eyes as we move and track something. We move our eyes back and forth. But the reality of it is, if you become intoxicated, it enhances that effect, and it makes it easier for a police officer to see whether or not you might have this nystagmus or this involuntary jerking of the eyes. But here's the problem with it. The test has to be followed very precisely. So what if the officer chooses not to administer the test correctly, whether because he's not properly trained or he's just sloppy in how he decides to administer it? Well, for instance, what if he doesn't do it 12 to 15 inches, but he does it too close or too far out? What if he moves the pen too quickly? Well, all of the training manuals point to the fact that the officer must follow the test and the administration of it properly, or they cannot be reliable. It will no longer be a reliable indicator. So additionally, it may be possible you have a type of natural nystagmus. Some people naturally have a nystagmus and they don't even know it. And if you have a natural nystagmus, that can affect any sort of conclusion that the officer may have come to as a result of that first field sobriety test. Okay, the second one, the walk and turn test. The walk and turn test, this is exactly what it sounds like, right? It's a physical test to determine if you have lost the normal use of your physical faculties because of alcohol being introduced into your body. Now, this is real simple. The officer asks you to put your one foot in front of the other, heel to toe, and you are to stand there with your arms at your side while he administers these instructions to you. Now, the officer is also supposed to actually demonstrate the test for you and show you how to actually do it. Now, what people don't realize is, here's the thing I've never understood about this test, okay? If you stand up and you put one foot in front of the other, you haven't even taken a step yet. What if during those instructions, which can last a minute or more, what if during that time you move your foot for a second in order to ask a question? That's a strike against you. What if you start the test before he says go? That's a strike against you. You've already failed the test before you even started. So one of the things is they don't obviously tell you what strikes against you. They're just looking for any minor violation in what's going on to fail you on the test in order to establish probable cause. So when the officer gives you instructions, I'm just breaking this down for you, he's going to ask you to take 9 steps down, heel to toe, execute a 3-point turn, and walk back, heel to toe, 9 steps with your arms down by your side while you count out loud. Now, if I told you before, if you start too soon, or maybe you don't walk exactly heel to toe, that's a strike against you. And out of those clues, in fact, I have a scoring sheet right here in front of me. Out of those clues that you can receive on a walk and turn, all you need are 2 out of 8 in order to fail the test, okay? And that's all he's looking for. The officer's just looking to mark you down for a failure on the test. Now, literally, here's the point. It's important to understand you can fail this test for many other reasons. Is it possible you could fail the walk and turn test and you're completely stone cold sober? Absolutely. And so my point on that, I always tell people this. Some of you may be able to raise your hand when I ask you this question. How many people have test anxiety? Yeah. Imagine you're on the side of the road. People are whizzing by and they see you. And there you are, knowing how you perform on this little walking test will determine whether you go to jail or whether you get to go home that night. So many times people can fail the test because they're just scared to death. Their blood pressure's through the roof and their heart's pounding in their chest. That can be one reason. Also, did the officer even administer it to you correctly? I've actually seen officers administer the test and they didn't even do the turn correctly. And they asked the person to go ahead and complete the test. Obviously, that's not fair. We have to make sure the officer performed the test correctly. How about if it's rainy outside? What if it's cold outside? What if it's windy outside? All of those conditions can play into, what if you're not on a flat surface? Those can play into whether or not that test should be relied upon in determining your intoxication. Okay, finally, the last test is the one-leg stand test. The one-leg stand is designed to do exactly what it sounds like. You keep one leg on the ground, you hold the other leg up, you put your hands down by your side, you're to count out loud for 30 seconds and hold your leg up without putting it down. It's to determine whether or not you have the normal use of your physical faculties because of alcohol. Here's the problem. What is normal? What does normal mean? LeBron James, his normal is a lot different than my normal. So my point is, it may not establish anything. Many people cannot hold up their foot on the side of the road like that for 30 seconds, and they've not had anything to drink ever. They don't even drink. So my point on that is, it's important, once again, if the officer does not administer the test correctly, it is not going to be used and reliable. And so a lot of people say, Jeff, can people fail these tests for many reasons? Of course they can. If you're not very coordinated like me, it's no problem for LeBron James. If he's had 20 drinks, it probably won't be a problem for him. But if you're not very coordinated, it's going to be an issue. All right, so finally, what about the test scoring sheets? I actually printed off a few of these test scoring sheets right here. These test scoring sheets, I only do this to let you know, sometimes clients, after they come and they hire us, they look at the evidence and they say, Jeff, I don't feel like these sheets are very fair. I feel like all they're doing is looking for any nitpicky thing and marking it down. That's exactly what they're doing. It's checking the box. And so that's why in litigating your DWI, we need to watch your video. What did you do? Were they fair in the administration of how they actually scored you on those field sobriety tests? So if you're facing a DWI charge in Texas or maybe in the Tarrant County or Dallas-Fort Worth area, and you have questions about your field sobriety tests, don't hesitate to give us a call at the Hampton Law Firm at 817-877-5200. By the way, I promised you if you waited around to the end, I would give you a free ebook, The Ultimate Guide to DWI Defense in Texas. Click on the link right down here below, and I'll be glad to send it out to you. Look forward to seeing you on our next video series, and hope you have a good rest of your day.